You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can't have a soldier out on the battlefield or conducting a classified order questioning whether that order is lawful or whether they should follow through.
A person familiar with the proceedings tells MS Now that a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. has declined to indict the 6 members of Congress, among them Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Senator Lisa Slotkin of Michigan, on charges of seditious conspiracy today, Tuesday.
President Donald Trump's latest attempt to prosecute his political opponents has failed yet again after a grand jury, and keep in mind, this is very rare, a grand jury declined to indict a group of 6 Democrats that the president's allies refer to as the seditious 6. Turns out they know alliteration. Congratulations. Now, the whole situation stems from a video that these Democratic lawmakers had uploaded online directing military personnel to refuse illegal orders from the Trump administration. And look, honestly, I didn't love the way they carried this out. I thought that it was, first of all, they weren't being specific. Like, okay, you're talking about illegal orders. Be specific about what you mean when you say illegal orders and defend that. Defend what you're doing when you go on to, cable news or do the press tour about this. I just felt like they thought they did something and really it just wasn't executed well. And all it did is attract the ire of Donald Trump, who wanted to prosecute them for this, literally. By the way, the military and our soldiers have the right to refuse to carry out illegal orders from the president of the United States. Hopefully they all know that. But the video was posted to Democratic Senator Elisa Slotkin's X account, and it featured Senator Mark Kelly, Representative Chrissy Holohan, Representative Chris DeLuzio, Representative Maggie Goodlander, and you also had Representative Jason Crow. Now, all of them had either served in the military or a national spy agency, either the CIA, FBI. You get the picture. Take a look.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Okay, so again, I don't necessarily have a problem with them doing this. It's just that they should have thought it through a little better. It comes across to me as we want to engage in a little bit of theater, and I'm honestly tired of theater. Okay, I want actual strategy. I want a well thought out plan, and I want that to be executed. That's honestly not what happened here. But putting that aside, you don't have to agree with the message of the video or how these Democrats went about this. However, Trump absolutely went off the rails after he saw it, calling their actions seditious and deserving of the death penalty. Deserving of the death penalty. If the allegations against Leon Black, a financier from previously Apollo Group, if the allegations that he raped a 16-year-old girl with autism and Down syndrome end up to be true, those are the types of people that should be executed. Okay? But anyway, he also wrote on social media, seditious behavior, punishable by death. And days following the post, the 6 Democrats disclosed that the FBI had contacted the House and Senate sergeant at arms, requesting interviews with them, indicating that a criminal investigation was underway. Kelly is also facing a separate investigation by the Pentagon into what military officials described as serious allegations of misconduct. Okay, now we're learning that there actually won't be criminal investigations for most of these folks. Now, Mark Kelly is a separate case. We'll get back to him in just a minute. However, according to the New York Times, the US Attorney's Office in DC, led by Jeanine Pirro, of course, authorized prosecutors to approach a grand jury and request an indictment. And honestly, Usually the grand jury abides. Usually the grand jury will agree to charges, indictments. But that didn't happen here. Okay, so prosecutors argued that the lawmakers had violated a statute that forbids interfering with the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the US Armed Forces. That's what they claimed the lawmakers were up to. That's what they claimed they were doing. But according to 4 people familiar with the matter, the grand jury just forcefully rejected this bid. Keep in mind that, again, these grand jury rejections are exceedingly rare, in part because the grand jury process is designed to favor the prosecutors significantly. I'm not kidding. So the suspect, for instance, in this case, the lawmakers are not allowed to provide a defense. All you need to show, you don't have to prove anything, right? The prosecutors don't have to prove a damn thing. All you need to show is that there is, probable cause. So that burden of proof that you see in an actual jury trial is not the same burden of proof that you're going to get when a grand jury is being asked whether or not they should indict suspects. But since Trump's second term started, this rare move where a grand jury rejects indictments, it's becoming a little more common. So the New York Times reported last year in September that ordinary people serving on grand juries have repeatedly refused in recent days to indict their fellow residents who became entangled in either the president's immigration crackdown or his more recent show of force. It has happened in at least 7 cases, including 3 times for the same defendant. And of course, the number has only increased since last September, right? Including with this latest case involving these lawmakers. They add, given the secretive nature of grand juries, it's all but impossible to know precisely why this is happening right now. Honestly, I would hate if we have a situation in which grand juries are solely making decisions based on political alliances or biases. There's no indication that happened here, by the way. I mean, I think most reasonable people would look at the allegations made against these lawmakers and roll their eyes. But I also do not want to live in a world where individuals who are accused of wrongdoing, and there's like significant evidence of wrongdoing, don't end up getting indicted because the grand jury just is more concerned about, partisanship or political alliances.
This will be fun. Let's talk about first dates. We've all been there. You're trying to figure someone out, so you ask the important stuff up front. What are you looking for? What are your deal breakers? You get right to the point to see if they're the right person for you. Well, the same goes if you're hiring. You definitely want to address key questions first to see if someone could be right for your role. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. When you post your job, ZipRecruiter suggests screening questions to help you identify top candidates faster. And today you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/TYT. Their matching technology immediately starts finding qualified people who actually check all your boxes. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site. Ask key questions and hire faster with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/TYT. That's ZipRecruiter.com/TYT. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Now, these persistent rejections suggest that grand jurors may have had enough with prosecutors seeking politically motivated or politically fueled cases, right? They're sick of the highly politicized nature of all of this. But this isn't the end for Mark Kelly, as I mentioned earlier. So Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, as it's called now, issued a formal letter of censure just last month and is basically seeking to reduce Kelly's retirement rank as a Navy captain. Just petty stuff. And a federal judge is expected to rule in the case, which is separate from everything else in the coming days over Kelly's participation in the video. So there you have it. That is the update on that story. Interesting stuff to say the least, but I'm sure it will enrage the president, who seems a lot more interested in prosecuting his political opponents as opposed to the co-conspirators that we're learning about in the latest tranche of Epstein files.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.